low-cost airline, Safair, is set to take to the skies before the festive season with the promise of affordable travel between Johannesburg and Cape Town. To get the details, we invited Dave Andrew, Managing Director at Safair, to the studio. David, thank you so much for making the time to join us. Now, earlier this year, the IATA conference came out and said, although the global airline industry is up, South Africa is down almost 2.9% year on year. Why would you decide to enter the market as an operator at this time?
Thanks very much for the opportunity. I think, yes, although the industry is down slightly year on year, if you look at where the industry is now compared to the exit of One Time and Velvet, I think the industry, there's a shortage in capacity, probably of about 11 to 12%. So in our opinion, it's still a good place to be in.
Also, if we look at the landscape in South Africa right now, we're seeing a flurry of low-cost airlines either preparing to launch or just having launched. How is this changing the competitive landscape?
Well, I think you're right. There has been a lot of interest, which we hope confirms our understanding that it's a good place to want to be in. We think the fact that there will be a new choice for a new operator will help to make the market better.
And how is this translating into rands and cents for the South African traveller?
Well, I think the fact that there will be another choice in the market will immediately help to bring down prices overall. Fly Safair will then obviously provide competitive prices, and I think overall you and the travelling public are going to benefit from it.
Can you give us an indication comparatively? Where is Safair going to be pegged?
Well, we'll have to be in line or in comparison with where everybody else is. So very difficult to put a number on it because it moves every day, but we will certainly provide competitive prices.
Let's take a look at Safair's routes in particular. Are you also gunning for the Golden Triangle? And if so, how are you planning to differentiate yourself there?
Well, for now, the plan is to start just on the Johannesburg and Cape Town routes. It is the thickest route in the country, in fact, one of the most thickest routes in the world. So we believe that will give us the stability that we need to get this up and started and stabilized. I mean, once that's done, then we'll consider looking at other routes within South Africa.
Do you have ambitions to look at or positioning yourself as a regional player in the long term?
Not at this stage, no.
And when you do expand domestically, again, are your thought processes around an expansion just to close off the triangle, or are you going to consider linking out some of the outlying cities into the network?
We would certainly look at any of the domestic cities as long as it makes sense and it's viable from a financial point of view. And I think, as you mentioned, we've been around a long time, so it needs to be sustainable for us, not just to fly for the sake of flying. Although our tagline is for the love of flying, we still need to make sure it makes sense.
So what does Comair, not Comair, what does Safair? You see, the play on words is a bit problematic, and I'm coming to that also because it has implications for your brand promise. Now, what does Safair deliver in terms of brand promise? How are consumers going to differentiate your value proposition from other competitors?
Our tagline is for the love of flying, and we'd like to bring some of that love for flying back in for the consumer. So we'd like to look at offering things like good common values, courtesy, a good service, and on-time performance.
So help me understand also a little bit about how airlines go into capturing market share. And I mean, one would assume that, of course, you go in with a value proposition and you try to get some of the travelers on your side. And we know that, to a lot of extent, a lot of the brand propositions have also taken on very dynamic brand personalities. And without, beginning to talk about other airlines, as a potential traveler, and I know we talk about value and we talk about reduced pricing, but if I'm sitting in one of your seats, what am I getting out of that?
Well, I think Safair has been around for a long time, so we hope we bring a lot of stability from our name and all the stuff that we've done for the last many years. And I think, yes, the biggest price differentiator will be price. So I think we'll have to compete on those.
When you talk about being in the industry for a long time, I understand you've been there for almost half a decade now, and it's only now that you've decided to enter the market as an operator. Talk to us about the other turnkey solutions that Safair offers along the value chain of the industry.
Well, previously we have provided a lot of what we call airline backup, so where we provided aircraft, including our own crew, etc., as support for other airlines, both domestically and within the region. So when they were looking at developing new routes or they had a requirement for additional capacity, we used to offer those services to them.
Let's look at the aircraft. What does your fleet look like?
The fleet for this operation will be two 737-400s. They will be 165 seats with leather interiors. We will be offering some additional options where we could buy seats at a little bit more additional price, but at least with some extra legroom, etc.
Are you also going for the differentiation between business and economy class, or are we all getting there at the same level and at the same time?
It'll all be in the same configuration, yeah, single class configuration.
One of the rather touchy issues that has come out of the media is also around the catering services that are linked to a variety of different airlines. Now, with your experience and the competitive advantage that unlocks, I would assume that you're already 2 steps ahead in terms of that decision-making process. How are you making sure that that value-added offering for the traveller is also taken care of? Who are you partnering with?
Well, we're in discussions at the moment and hope to finalise an agreement with our preferred supplier very shortly. And we will be offering onboard catering for sale. So yes, hopefully we can meet whatever the requirements are of the customer. And
before I let you go, let's also look at some of the technology value additions. Some airlines are now currently offering Wi-Fi and the rest. Can we expect that on Safair?
Maybe in the future, not for now. It's a significant investment for the age of airplanes that we have, but if you're looking at newer generation airplanes, yes, it is something that can be considered.
David, thank you so much for making the time to join us, and I do hope to be on board very soon.
Thank you very much. We look forward to welcoming